Greetings, fellow flameborn. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Enshrouded. Episode 12. Adding a Carpenter and exploring a new biome. I don't think the Flame Sanctum is all that important in the scheme of things, because there's like loads of sanctums and shrines everywhere, so I'm gonna travel back to Jotunheim and make a house for the Carpenter. Which feels weird.
Hey!
Because he's a carpenter after all, but yeah, whatever. Flameborn, our power yet grows. Thanks to you, our light reaches beyond the mortal realm. It dances on the edge between life and death, searching for those lost souls untouched by the shroud of the elixir. Find such a soul and bring it back. Rebuild this world. So, a new location for bringing back a pure soul. So this pure soul is different than the ones we've found so far. The ones I've found so far are classified as craftspeople, but there are other NPCs that are not craftspeople necessarily. There are barriers beyond our comprehension that shield the chambers within the illumination, pitch black temples dreamt up by the elder ancients, shrouded in mystery. Their secrets obscure my vision, but it shan't restrict yours. Dive in and lift the cover of darkness. And that is Illuminate the Night, which is another quest. Here's a third. From this point onward, I will require following to increase my strength, a larger group of believers ready to rebuild and share their energy, their knowledge, their hope. Go on, spread our light. So that is to increase the follower amount and flame level. So flame level would be here, and I still don't have the matron helmet, so it's kind of moot. Okay, other people to talk to before I build the house.
Aha! Our fire burns still.
Another friendly face. You have troubling rumors about abominations and the abuse of the elixir. Investigate. You want me to get your mortar? You want me to go into the hollowed halls? You want me to get a cat? You want me to... What is this? I don't even know what this quest is. And then collect mycelium. Or telling me about mycelium, something like that. And the hunter.
What's your wish?
A test of skill. Try gathering some animal fur. Okay. And she now has some decorative stuff that she can make as a result of getting the carpenter. I think the blacksmith now has a scrappy rake, which is the better rake.
Don't waste it.
The farmer
Need a hand?
will wear the hollow and can make a cat pillow, cat bowl, and cat food, as well as cat food bait. So that's, you know, in regards to getting ourselves a cat.
Goodbye.
Obviously. Alright, that's probably enough mushroom seedlings. I think the first ones I've already planted are pickable, but I'm just going to leave them there for now. Because, I don't need health potions at the moment. Alright, all the stuff I looted. Let's sort it all away. And I have enough legendary runes that, the next upgrade level might be obtainable already. So I ought to go upgrade my primary weapon again. Hey Naichi, thank you for the resub. And welcome. So to upgrade my bronze sword, I need 14 runes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And upgrade. Now this one increases the merciless attack damage, which I don't have. Merciless attack is a special ability where when you break their stamina, you deal massive damage. I don't really like merciless attack because bosses can't easily have their stamina broken, and non-bosses die well before it becomes useful to do that ability. So I I upgraded the blade, but like I don't think I'm going to be taking advantage of that. So the last upgrade here is the critical chance, and the critical, which is nice because we apply bleeding on crit. So, you know, getting that upgrade is still, I think, worth it. All right, so back to what we were doing. We wanted to build the Carpenter's house. So let's get... Actually, before we do that, I ought to get a better rake. Because I want to build it opposite the alchemist's house, but there's like a hill there, so I need to rake out the hill. So for that, we need a rake, 2 metal scraps, and coal. Rake. Coal. Scraps. So Glitch, to further answer you, I do find trying to quick cast healing channel mid-combat is a little tricky unless you're not playing alone. Because it's a channeled ability, so you can't like... It takes a minute to like switch to your staff and then start casting that thing. But with that said, bows and daggers are a perfectly viable and reasonable weapon set. I just wouldn't... if you need healing in a pinch, healing potions are going to be 10 times faster than trying to cast channel. Because here's how long it takes. Now I've healed. And in the middle of the combat, when you're like being swarmed, that's going to take you like 5 seconds. And in 5 seconds, you're probably dead. So unless you already have the staff out because you're a caster, it's not a reasonable thing to main, in my opinion. But, you know, your mileage might vary. So don't take my word for it. You can always try it for yourself. So attempting to mimic what I had on the other side, we have the platform for the carpenter, and then the carpenter house will be here. So here's a little trick. If you want to remove stuff, you can put it down and then right click and remove, and it like refunds you and deletes what was there. So it's a good way to like remove a lot of soil, but I'm going to need more stone anyway. Let's do a little bit of mining. Yeah, potions and bandages are better to use. Bandages are pretty cheap. Potions are pretty cheap as soon as you start farming, because once you can farm, once you can start farming berries and mushrooms in mass, you can have kind of as many potions as you want. It really is not much effort at all. And I would even say it's easier than bandages, because bandages require you to have a lot of string, and you can farm plant fiber stuff in mass, but like if you're already farming, why bother with bandages that have like a delayed heal over time effect that can be broken on damage? Just go straight for potions, which are instant, with no delay. So I think unless you're in a party setting, probably the best method to heal is just go straight, straight healing potions. And then if you're in a party and you want to be like a dedicated support, then that's a different matter. But I haven't played large parties enough that like having dedicated support even makes sense. You would need a party of like at least 3 or more for there to have anyone remotely dedicated for healing. Unless you're on a really hard difficulty or something, but even then that would be pretty weird. Yeah, they're fairly good in multiplayer. That's more or less what I'm saying is, in a multiplayer setting, healing might make sense, but in a single player setting, it really does not. purpose of these here, this is where the house is going to go, and I'm just like land clearing using foundations. So as you can see, everywhere where we would need land cleared is cleared as a result of just using foundations to nuke it. And now our Carpenter house will be kind of like nestled into the hillside as a result. Which is the design I was going for. So, need a little bit more wood, but apart from that, we're nearly done. The other thing I often rely upon for healing is, unless you're like deep in the shroud and you're just surrounded by enemies, healing over time stuff, like berries and other consumable, other food items that just help you passively heal gradually. Like, dried berries are not hard to just dry on the drying rack. In fact, you could have all the production process, or most of the production processes are pretty cheap. Meaning you can have like 10 drying racks if you wanted to. And you could have a dedicated 1 or 2 just for dried berries. The production facilities like that are slow, but they're very inexpensive to build. So if you want to do something like that, having you know, a few dedicated drying racks, which just cost you some wood and string. I mean, that's like nothing cost.
I can do it.
For dried berries on demand, you know, that's not unreasonable either. I probably don't... Yeah, I don't have enough fiber roof blocks. What level am I? 7, I think? So the structure's done. Now we just need the beds and other random furniture. I don't believe I have any string. Time to collect some bushes. It is not my first time playing, no. It is just about never my first time playing anything I ever stream. To answer your question from a larger standpoint. Just save for like maybe 1 stream a year or a few streams a year, I do my homework for everything I play. Meaning I'm not like oblivious to the game mechanics. So it's not... And if that's not the case, I would have like the blind playthrough tag on Steam at the very least. Unless there's a reason to have a blind playthrough, like let's say it's a mystery game or a puzzle game, which I don't tend to play mystery and puzzle games, I would not blind playthrough things. Just as a general rule of thumb. Ooh, got a firefly. Okay, so we have the stuff, the crude mattress. Unfortunately for the villagers, they sleep on mattresses on the floor. But, you know, maybe it's a tatami mat. Maybe it's comfortable. Who knows? Then I need the window, the hearth, you know, the typical setup. Metal fragments for the door. And once we have the Carpenter, I will have access to much more attractive looking stuff pretty soon. So that we're not stuck with like janky, weird DIY furniture that looks awful, for lack of a better term. Oops. All right, house is ready for occupation. We're summoning in Cade.
Yoo-hoo!
Telling him not to wander anywhere. Binding him to a bed. And give him a little talk.
Well,
So immediately he can craft a better glider, but I don't have the linen to make that because I would need a hand spindle. Plus I would need to find flax for the first time. It's not in the starting biome. I also don't have shroud sacks. Again, it tells you exactly where to find that. Revelwood fell enemies. I haven't been in Revelwood, so that's not helpful, at least not yet. The kiln, which I don't have any lumps of clay, that's not found here either. I'd have to go to Revelwood. Little spoiler. Furniture. So we have the bathtub, which is a new comfort item, so that would raise my comfort level of my home if I wanted to. A lavatory, same deal. And a sink, same deal. And making one of each would make my bed better. Or my home better. There's also the wooden bed, which I do have dried fur, nails, and string, which would raise the comfort level as well. It's not as good as a sun lounger, of course. A better bench. That chair is the same. We have a stone fireplace, which is, I think that's not all that different. I'm going to make one because I just have access to it, but I don't think it's all that different comfort level from what I already have. Chandeliers, a new set of tables, and then these are like fossil showcases. So the random fossils that I've been collecting, you can showcase. It doesn't give you comfort, but it lets you showcase stuff. And then you can have mannequins that allow you to display stuff, plus weapon stands, shield stands, wall mount points. Better doors. So hardwood is something that you get in Revelwood. Regular doors, which we could make with nails. Fancier window frames, water troughs, stuff for plows and, harrows for making your farm look more farm-like, furniture, secret doors. So if you wanted a subterranean basement or something, I've opened a few of these as I've played, but you can build them yourself, plus wooden ladders, or secret walls. So it gives you the ability to have, like, secret spaces, which is weird in a single-player game, because it's like, yeah, I know it's there. But still, so a huge amount of potential craftables from him. So let's go and upgrade our hearth. And our food box is actually here. So I'll just put it next to the food box. Meaning that this one can be saved for the next NPC that we rescue. I'll just put it away. Because this one looks a little bit nicer. It's not any different, like in terms of cook speed or anything, but, looks better, I guess. Alright, just putting all the junk away. And then, I think, because there's not a lot of time left in the stream, I'm going to try to take advantage of... Well, let's pick up some of the quests that have been offered. So, lost equipment. Oswald Anders' chest.
Never let the coals die. Hey!
Balthazar has another quest. To find the last spark.
We're stronger together.
Cade here has some quests of his own.
My favorite speedrun.
Go to a tomb full of treasure. Do some grave robbing. Do the New Year stuff. So this was this was kind of like an event NPC that you got at your village, which is like Chinese New Year. It's a little weird. It's a little off-brand, but you know, you can do it if you want. Lost equipment chest. The Vukan, or Vuka, who are like beastmen, I guess, sort of, that we can investigate. Go to Morwana, which we've already been to, and then Didwin, which we haven't, and then the Hollowed Halls, and this is yet another Hollowed Halls quest that he's offering up. Who else? I think we've talked to the Huntress. She's got nothing new. And Farmer shouldn't have anything new either.
Good luck.
But now, you can see that the map is full of quest locations. I mean, full of them. There's places everywhere. And we're actually starting to see green. Green is like low level for us. If you are a completionist, which sometimes I find myself wanting to be a completionist, clearing out the green stuff before it's way too easy for you might make a lot of sense, but we have like 18 quests. It's also worth noting that this is like a small fraction. I've completed 23, we have 18 active, but there's like hundreds of quests in this game. So, I mean, the world is it's not this bounding box here. That would be a lie, because the game is still in early access. But, you know, we've only explored a small fraction of it. I think what I want to do before end of stream is to go to the Revelwood Ancient Spire, as that is like a major milestone, which I don't think I can reasonably do in 10 minutes, but I can try. Rather than to like spend some time improving like the furniture of my home. I don't need a bathtub and a toilet. I'll do without, at least for now. But unlocking a new biome, yeah, sure. So it's about 1 kilometer away. And I'm gonna just try to beeline there. It'd be good to have the on-the-road bonus. So the ancient spires are really easy to see from a distance because they are essentially skyscrapers. Just fly there. Oh yeah, if only. They're like skyscrapers, so they're not points of interest that are like hard to spot. They often require you to cross shroud expanses, and that is like a game progression mechanic to slow you down, so you can't just like speed run all the spires. It's not to say that you couldn't, but the danger level goes up as you venture away from easier biomes. But we're already starting to... This is technically the foothills of Revelwood. And you can tell because there's clay. Or actually, this is copper. Excuse me. But there will be copper and clay. So one thing I could do, because I do have a free altar, is just to put an altar here so I can fast travel here whenever I want. And in this case, normally I don't rename my altars, but I'll rename this copper. So that if and when I want copper later on, because right now my tools, my scrappy axe and scrappy pickaxe are literally like just salvaged metal. They're garbage. Eventually you're able to make, you know, proper tools, copper tools and the like. So throwing down a little marker for that is great. Also, flax. Flax is going to be mightily important if I want linen. We got strawberries. All the trees around here are, or a lot of the trees around here are hardwood trees. So picking up my first hardwood. The enemies are going to be harder because this is outside of the, like, starter basic zone. So, level 11. Up until now, I think 9 was the highest. Not that it was hard for me to beat. Like, he went poof instantly, but still. Getting some hardwood. Another thing to collect, it might not seem important, but trust me, you're going to want it. It's a little bit, I won't tell you why as a spoiler. Indigo, you're like, oh, that's for clothing dyes, right? No, collect indigo. Just trust me on that. You're going to want a whole bunch of it for reasons. And then also to, like, try to remember where you find indigo, because, again, it's a thing that you're going to need in mass later on. So we want to go north-northeast, which is kind of like this way. And I want to just blitz all the way to the spire, so I don't get too sidetracked. But let's switch berries. The strawberries, what is this? Health regen? Yeah, this is even more health regen than the dried berries, although it lasts a lot shorter. Yeah, loot everything. It's not a bad call. Getting at least some clay while you're in this biome is also going to be important for the kiln. And not all the monsters are immediately hostile, so like this is a good example of one that isn't. Because I just want to get to the spire, I'm not going to even stop for him. I will stop for the indigo though, because I'll put it this way, there was a quest that I had in playtesting the game where it wanted me to collect a lot of indigo, and being able to farm it, like having, I'll put it this way, don't use up the last of your plants. So if you only have one indigo plant, plant it in your farm. Don't use it, because you can always turn 1 indigo into 5 and 5 indigo into 25, but you can't turn 0 indigo into anything. So don't be in a situation where you exhaust the last of a resource that you have collected. So there's the spire. That's where we're headed. And these morons don't know how to jump, so eat my dust, idiots. But also, needless to say, flax is going to be important to harvest like crazy as well while you're in the Revelwood. If and when possible, check in with these shrines so that in the case that you die, especially when you're in a harder biome, you can respawn back at the spires, because if I had to respawn all the way back to where I was before, that would be a little depressing. Ooh, we got some, whatever they're called, the Venus flytrappy things. And the spire is this way. Slightly obscured by all the giant trees. Any new plants? Just strawberry? Okay. Oh, here we go. Some forest beets. And you can see some of the, ooh, raw game. Some of the new blueprints that were unlocked. Like vegetable puree and the like. The more craftspeople you get, the more options you get for like buffs and the like. So the spire is up there. This is what clay looks like. It looks real. You can see why when I first found the copper, I was like, oh, it's clay, because they almost look identical. Although the game just screwed me and was like, oh, you're mining clay? Guess what? You get stone, because it wasn't a big enough node. But it's very common. It's not like you have to go rooting around for it. When you find clay in the ground, you'll find like hundreds of it. It's not precious by any means. This is definitely not the quickest or easiest way, but I'm a pathfinder. I'm making my own path. Climbing a cliffside is a bit weird? Yeah, it is. It doesn't usually exist on the cliffside. And here we are at the shrine. And for us to unlock this as a fast travel, we got to get up to the top, which is what I wanted to do before end of stream. There are going to be a lot of, like, side path chests that if you just beeline, you kind of, like, miss out on. Oh, like Prayer of the Flame Scroll, which gives you magic damage at time of the Shroud. And a copper ingot. So sometimes it helps to have a ranged weapon, like a wand, which is one of the reasons why I might not ever get rid... Like, I'm never going to upgrade my wands, but keeping one... as just in case is kind of nice, because there will be times where I might not want to burn a spell unless I have an eternal spell, like a forever spell. But the buttons that need to be like shot by bows or wands or... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, speaking of wands, that's a 13, up from our 9. There is a reason to collect multiple wands, though. A lot of enemies will have weakness to a specific element. So having a fire wand and a ice wand as a combination, you know, might be needed depending on the types of enemies you're attacking. Where is the last button? Also, the floor traps, like, don't hurt very much. Alright, one more button. So. Here it is. Oh, no, I need 3 more buttons. Ouch. Okay, it doesn't hurt much until you start, like, multi-tanking, where you're letting it stab your bottom over and over and over. It goes from a nuisance to vicious acupuncture pretty quick. But that's what the berries are for. Now, where's the stupid buttons? Okay, there was a button up there that I could have shot had I not dropped down. Also, I'm starting to loot fired bricks. So clay makes fired bricks. So finding my first fire brick is a good way to unlock the clay brick recipe stuff that we gain access to once we have a kiln. a button over there. So there must be a climbing point here, which lets me up there. No? Because that's too big of a gap. It's funny, I've like done these patterns or trials before, but it's easy to forget. Can I shoot it through? I don't think I can shoot it through. No. Because this brings me back down to the bottom floor. And I don't think it's anything on these balconies. No, these balconies aren't taking me anywhere. Looking for swings on the ceiling. So there's one of them. Spotting the other one would still be useful. So that's the platform with the wooden chest that we already opened. The gold chest is there. God, why am I blanking on getting over there? Look up from one of the safe spots? Sure. Oh, here we go. Thank you. And then the last one is right there. I think this is the final floor. Locked. So the wand's damage attenuates pretty quick. And in that case, Ice Bolt. There's probably like clay bricks and stuff that I didn't loot on the other path because it forked, but I don't really care. And here we are. Charted the top. The undergrowth of Revelwood hides with madness within. The elixir's cradle, the root of the rot, the seed of insanity. A labyrinth of malady and disorder, nestled in the Bosker's heart. So, having unlocked the top here, we have a bunch of elixir wells, flame sanctums, shroud roots, etc. Highlighted for us around. And we now have a fast travel site for the Ancient Spire, which I usually, whenever I go into a new biome, that's where I travel to first, because you can very easily fly to many of the points of interest from up here. Plus, you know, it's fast travelable. So it's a good way to have saved a spot. And as you can see, it's like in the middle of like shroud on many sides. And you can see even from a distance, like that's clay on the hillside. Pretty easy to spot. So it's not a resource that's hard to get your hands on. Mycelium, so on and so forth. And from here, I should be able to fly to that cliff. No problem. If you wanted to. No, I dove down too early, but that's fine. We got it as a fast travel site, so I'm going to head back to Jotunheim. And this, friends, after having unlocked the Revelwood shrine is, or spire, is where I'm going to leave off for this stream. Thank you for tuning in to Enshrouded, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow flameborn.